Consider the vector space R2. Now let us look at this line. This line corresponds to a set of points with same coordinates. Call this set as U1. If we add 2 points in this set, we get back a point which belongs to the same set. That is, it makes sense to add 2 points on this line. It is the same as saying that the set U1 is closed under addition. Given closure of addition, we can say that addition is commutative and associative in U1 because it is commutative and associative in R2. 0, 0 or the additive identity also falls on this line. If we scale any point in this set, we get back an element in the same set. That is to say that scalar multiplication makes sense in this set, or this set is closed under scalar multiplication. This leads to the existence of additive inverse for every point in U1. This is because of the fact that this set is closed under scalar multiplication, so -1 times v belongs to this set for all v in U1. And we know that -1 times v is equal to -v, or the additive inverse of v. That is, for every point in U1, there is an additive inverse in U1. The properties of multiplicative identity and distributive properties follow because they follow in R2. Since this set satisfies all the properties of a vector space, it is a vector space. We can also verify that all the lines through origin are vector spaces as well. We can call these as subspaces of R2. A subspace of vector space V is a subset of V, which in itself is a vector space. To check whether a subset U of V is a subspace of V, we need to check the following 3 conditions. We need to check whether U1 is closed under addition. This leads to the properties of commutativity and associativity of addition. We need to check whether U1 is closed under scalar multiplication. This ensures the existence of additive inverse for every element in this set. This also makes sure that 1v belongs to this set. We need to also check whether the additive identity exists in this set. This in itself is a property of a vector space. Now let us see if this set is a subspace of R2. It is closed under addition and it also contains 0, 0 or the additive identity. But if we scale any point in this set by a negative number, it leads to a point which is not in this set, so this set is not closed under scalar multiplication, so it is not a subspace of R2. The subspaces of R2 are all the lines to origin, the set R2 itself, and a singleton containing the additive identity. These are the trivial subspaces. Now let us look at all the subspaces of R3. All the lines through origin are subspaces of R3. All the planes through origin are subspaces of R3. Then we have the trivial cases of R3 itself and the set containing only the additive identity. Now consider this set of points. It is not a subspace of R3 because it does not contain the additive identity itself. Now consider this set of points. It is the union of these 3 planes. It contains 0, 0, 0. It is closed under scalar multiplication. This is because if you scale any point in any of these 3 planes, the point remains in the same plane. Say if we pick 1 point from here and 1 point from here, the sum of these 2 is somewhere here, which does not belong to this set. So this set is not closed under addition. This means that this set is not a subspace of R3. Consider this subset of R4 where the product of coordinates is 0. It does contain the point 0, 0, 0, 0 or the additive identity. For the product of the coordinates to be 0, at least one of the coordinates must be 0. If we scale such a point, the product of the coordinates of the scaled point is also 0. So this set is closed under scalar multiplication. Now consider these 2 points. The sum of these 2 points does not belong to this set. So it is not closed under addition and hence it is not a subspace of R4. In fact, the example we looked at for R3 corresponds to this scenario where the product of the coordinates is 0. And we saw that it is not a subspace of R3. Now consider 2 subspaces U1 and U2 of R3. Build a set by taking 1 point from U1 and 1 from U2 and adding them. This will lead to this plane. We call this set as the sum of subspaces U1 and U2. Sum of the subspaces is also a subspace of R3. The sum of these 2 subspaces is R3. The sum of these 2 subspaces is also R3. However, there is something special about this case. In this case, for every vector u in R3, there is a unique combination of u1 from u1 and u2 from u2 that sum to V. But in the first case, V can be written as sum of vectors in U1 and U2 in more than one way. In the case where there is a unique representation, we say that R3 is a direct sum of U1 and U2. In fact, for a pair of subspaces U1 and U2 of V, to form a direct sum, we need to check whether U1 plus U2 is equal to V and that the intersection of these two is the additive identity alone. So R3 is the direct sum of these two and not the direct sum of these two, since the intersection in this case is a line. Now consider these three subspaces of R3. R3 is a direct sum of these three lines. As for this case, these subspaces do sum to R3, but they do not form a direct sum. In general, if there are n subspaces of V, then V is a direct sum of these subspaces if and only if V is a sum of these subspaces, and the only way to write 0 is by taking all the vectors as 0. Going back to this example of three subspaces, the only way we can get a 0 is by taking all the vectors as 0, whereas in this case 0 can be written in multiple different ways. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, we are going to look at the concepts of linear combinations, bases, dimensions with examples.